Hello everyone, I'm Heather and I'm here for our final STEAM Friday of 2020. I hope you're all having a good December so far, and today's STEAM science is called Festive Fizzy Science, and so we've actually got two little experiments that we're going to do. The first one is an ornament that we get to create a scientific reaction inside of, and it will coat the ornament in paint, and then you will be able to keep that ornament as a craft you created using science and put it on your Christmas tree. Or hang it wherever you like. And then the second experiment is going to be growing the Grinch's heart. So I have the book How the Grinch Stole Christmas here, and it's a longer book, but I'll read the ending of it for you. So spoiler, if you haven't read this or seen the movies, I will spoil the ending, but it's going to explain a bit about the Grinch's heart, because our experiment will be growing the Grinch's heart using science. So I am going to start with pointing the camera downward, and we're going to do our first experiment to create the ornament. So here we go. So I'll start by going over the things that come in your kit, and then we will talk about the things that you will need to supply, which is only a couple things. One of them, to just start off, is a baking tray I said on here, but I'm just going to use this ceramic plate. It can easily be washed, but you could use a baking tray or any kind of plate. In our kit, we have some baking soda, and we're going to need to split this and the vinegar into two, because we'll be using the vinegar and the baking soda for both experiments. So don't use them all on this first one. I also have, for this first one, a little cardboard tube. This is cut from a toilet paper roll, and this is going to hold our ornament upright. These are plastic ornaments, but still be careful with them. And we have some glitter. Everybody's glitter or sequins look a little different. You get a little bonus treat to enjoy after the experiment or whenever your parents say you can. You get a green balloon and some red paint. So the things we'll be using for the first experiment are half of the baking soda, half of the vinegar, not the green balloon, we'll set that aside. We'll need our glitter, our paint, and our ornament. And then also for this experiment, you're going to need your baking tray or your plate. You're going to need to supply a funnel and some dish soap. You only need a couple drops of dish soap. It can be any dish soap. And that's it for this first one. So what we're going to do is open up our ornament by just pulling the top off. You can also cut the little tag off here. We don't need that. Save this piece, set it aside. You will need it when the ornament is dry to put back on. So we're going to stand up our ornament in here. We're going to take some of our baking soda. So I probably should have grabbed a spoon for this. Let me grab a spoon as well. Okay, I've got my spoon here. I'm going to use my funnel and spoon some of the baking soda into my ornament. Just a couple spoonfuls. It doesn't need to be a lot. I would say save more than half the baking soda for the next experiment. So we've got our baking soda in there. Then we're going to add our dish soap. So we just need a couple drops. There, I put 2 drops. So we're creating a reaction here, and the dish soap is going to make the reaction a little more bubbly and make the paint stand out some more. So for getting the paint into our ornament here, I'm going to, I think, just use the end of my spoon and try to scoop as much as I can into here. And you could use the funnel if you want, but I think this is actually easier. It's going pretty good so far. So I'm just using the end of my spoon and scooping the paint into the ornament. And you can use all of the paint if you want. I did supply more than we'll probably need, so if you don't get it all in the ornament, that's okay. But there, that's pretty good. I put most of it in there, so I'm just gonna wipe off my spoon a little. This is, what did I buy? I forget if I bought acrylic or poster paint, but either way it will wash off of your kitchen utensils. So yeah, just wash it as soon as you can after you're done your experiment. Now we're just going to stir up the paint with that baking soda, and it's going to create kind of a paste inside your ornament here. So it's already looking pretty cool, like a wild science experiment. If your spoon doesn't fit in the ornament, use like a popsicle stick or a skewer or something to mix this up. Ooh, it looks cool already. So that mix the paint with the baking soda, and it basically just thickens the paint, but the paint is going to then react with the vinegar because it creates a reaction when you add baking soda to vinegar, or vinegar to baking soda in this case. So before we add our vinegar, we're going to dump in our little sparkles or sequins, whatever it is that you got in your kit. So you can just dump those in. You can use all of them if you want, or just some. There's quite a lot in this little jar, so I think I'll put about half in there and put my stopper back on. And I will actually stir that up as well. So get my glitter mixed in a little bit. Doesn't have to be mixed super good. It's just to add a little bit of excitement. Okay, now we are going to do the actual reaction part. So we're going to take our funnel, put it in the top. You will get a little bit of paint on your funnel probably, and we're going to pour about half of the vinegar in. So remember to save half of it for your next experiment. So here we go. And the ornament is already fizzing up. So it's starting to fizz. I'm going to take the camera down and give you a closer look. Wow, look at it. Cool. And this is why we need the plate to catch all of that extra fizz that's overflowing. And that is pretty cool. That's a good reaction. So the reaction is starting to carry the paint up throughout the ornament. As you can see, don't mind the mess on my desk behind. Here we go. But the reaction is carrying the paint up. I think I'll give it a little swirl to try and get some of that paint mixed in there. You can also tip it side to side. Play with it however you want. And it's still coming out. Look at that. Wow. That is looking pretty cool. So we're just going to let that sit. I'll tune back in once the reaction has stopped and show you what my finished ornament looks like. So while I let my experiment down here sit and finish fizzing off, I've actually kind of tipped the ornament upside down so that everything will drain out and the paint will start to flow throughout the rest of the ornament as well. So it's just sitting here finishing its eruption, and I'm going to read you this ending of How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss because it has something to do with our next experiment. So I see this looks very washed out, but I'll show you the pictures up closer as well. So this part has happened after the Grinch has attempted to steal Christmas from Whoville. He's taken all of their trees, all of their presents, their lights, everything that looks like Christmas to him. So he says, "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then it started to grow. There he is. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded very merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Look at that Grinch. Got big red eyes popping. Even his dog looks shocked. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. There's all the little Who's standing hand in hand singing. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet, ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours, till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And look, he's coming back into Whoville. He himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Look, I think this is little Cindy Lou Who. There's the Grinch carving the roast beast for Christmas dinner. So, the moral of the story is, Christmas doesn't come from a store or from presents or from decorations. Christmas is a little bit more, and we can all remember that this year, I think especially. But the part where his heart grew 3 sizes is the experiment that we're going to try to replicate. So let me change my camera angle and I'll show you our next experiment. So just taking a final peek at our ornament here, you can see the streaks. I had it sitting upside down so the paint and reaction continued to flow out of it. I have the remains of my explosion here, and you can see these little streaks make a really neat pattern along the ornament itself. And I think I will actually dump the rest of my glitter in here. I'm just gonna clear out the top a little bit and dump my glitter in, and we'll give it a little shake up. So I'm going to cover it with my thumb and just roll that glitter around, and I think it all stuck in there. You can't see much from the outside, but it looks pretty cool to peek in there. You can kind of see it on camera. So I'm just going to set this on the corner of my plate here. I need to just wipe my fingers off, and we're going to get our next experiment started. So you could clear off your plate if you want. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to just work on top of this mess already. So for our next experiment, we're going to need our balloon. You will also need a plastic water bottle. Empty plastic water bottle. We'll need the funnel again, and a red permanent marker if you have one. So I've got my red marker here. If you don't have red, a black permanent marker will work as well. Permanent is best though, because we're going to be writing on our balloon. So this balloon represents the Grinch, and we're going to draw his little shriveled heart onto this balloon. So Using your red marker, just draw a heart onto that balloon, color it in. There we go. That's my little shriveled Grinch heart. Now the red marker on the green looks black anyway, so if you don't have red, that's okay. Now we are going to put our baking soda. I've got a bit of water in here still, so I'll just dump out the water. We're going to put our baking soda into this bottle. So I'm going to sit it right in my mess here. That's okay. We will use our funnel again, and we're going to dump all of the baking soda, all your remaining baking soda, into our funnel. So here we go. Hopefully I can do this. You might need some extra hands to help you out. Get all that baking soda in there. Just tap your funnel a little bit to get it in. There we go. If you have any extra paint left, oops, I just got it on my fingers. You could put some paint in this if you want. It'll make the reaction red, just like in our ornament. But I'm just gonna leave mine how it is. We're going to, oh, you know what? I think I did this backwards from how the internet showed me. I was supposed to put the baking soda in the balloon, but instead I'm just gonna put the vinegar in the balloon. So I think either way will work, but we'll see. Learn from my mistake if this doesn't go well. So I've got my balloon over top of my funnel, and I'm gonna pour all of my vinegar into that balloon and take out the funnel. So be very careful the way you're holding this because it has liquid in it now. But we're going to stretch the top of our balloon over our water bottle, making sure it's nicely secure on there. So our baking soda, or rather our vinegar, is hanging out in the balloon. Our baking soda is in the bottom of this right now, and we are going to, whoa, don't let it tip over. We're going to flip up the balloon so that the reaction begins. And we're hoping that when the reaction happens, the gas that it creates will inflate this balloon. I should also mention, before you put, let's take this off actually, because I have a tip that I would like you to do before you do this. Hopefully you're not doing this right live with me because I'm making mistakes as I go. I'm gonna dump my vinegar back in here just for a minute. And I'm going to actually stretch my balloon first, because you know when you try to blow up a brand new balloon, it's really stiff and it can be quite hard. So I'm gonna just stretch my balloon first to get it kind of worked in, and then hopefully it will inflate a little better when we go to do the experiment. Okay, let's try that again. So we'll put our vinegar back in the balloon. Good thing that was easy enough to do. I think the baking soda would have been harder to get out of the balloon. So we're gonna do this again. Put our balloon right over top of our water bottle. Just be careful not to rip your balloon. We don't want any holes in it, otherwise the air will escape. Okay, so I'm gonna let this stand here. I'm gonna change my camera angle, the better angle. So let's inflate this Grinch's heart. Here we go. So tip it up. Look at the balloon. It's growing. I hope this doesn't fly off of here. But look at that. The Grinch's heart is growing 3 sizes at least. So the balloon is inflating due to the gas that's being created in that reaction. Again, sorry for my messy desk, but this is what mad science looks like. So look at that balloon. How fun is that? I haven't done this before, obviously, so I didn't know how well this would work, but wow, I'm really happy with that. So part of the science you can experiment with is give it a little shake, see if that keeps the reaction going a little longer. You can sit here and watch the balloon and time how long it stays inflated for. You could measure the balloon and see how big it got. Let's do that. Got a ruler right here. So in inches, the round part of my balloon is about 5.5 inches tall. And in centimeters, I'd say it's about 14 centimeters tall. Oh, not quite. So yeah, it inflated a lot. I'm pleasantly surprised with how much this inflated. From this view, you got real close to the balloon. So here is our Grinch heart. It really doesn't look red at all on the camera, but in real life it looks kind of red. So if you want to conduct more science and continue gathering data from this, time how long your balloon stays inflated for. I'm gonna let mine sit here and I'll check back in however long it takes to deflate. Maybe it will take a long time, I don't know. Hello again. So it's been about 45 minutes to an hour since I left this. I cleaned up my whole experiment and this still hasn't deflated really by much at all. I'd say it's about 13-ish centimeters tall and about 5 inches. So yeah, it's still going strong. It's holding its air pretty good in there. It's solid. So yeah, I'll have to hear from you how long your Grinch heart stays inflated for. Continue monitoring it. But thank you so much for watching this Steam Friday experiment where we created that awesome ornament and the wild Grinch growing heart. So thanks so much for being here, and I hope you have a great Christmas holiday. Bye-bye.